This is a quick performance installation video for K10720 small block AC. We're going to start by doing some pre-assembly here. We're going to take our 3/8 by 4" bolt and then one of our three 2 5/8 spacers like so, and then take our back plate, get it in there, and then there's a nut to capture that. This will hold this together while we install the other pieces. Next, we're going to take our 3/8 by 5½ tube here, bolt, and our spacer, 2 5/8, and then our shorter spacer there. Now we are ready to install this onto the cylinder head. The bracket will be installed using the 2 water pump holes here, so make sure those are out because we'll be going in there. And then you do need a cylinder head that has the upper outermost threaded hole there. We'll go ahead and screw this in there. We're going to leave it finger tight so that we can get our other 2 bolts right here. We're going to take a 4 3/4" bolt and install it here to go into the water pump, and it will go on into the block there. There is 2 of those, upper and lower. A little difficult to do when I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera, but it's an easy enough job. And we'll tighten those up here in this later step. We're ready to install the compressor. I want to draw your attention to this bushing here. We will want to push it out until it's flush right here to avoid any mounting issues. I like to take the longest bolt first and install it in the rear of the compressor like so. So it kind of takes a little bit of the weight, and then we start threading in the front one. Just get it started like that, and that way you can easily rotate it up. It holds the weight of the compressor. Get this one going here. We're going to take these down, leave them finger tight, and we'll go through a torque process. We're now going to go through a tightening sequence. We're going to start with the bolt that's going into the head, followed by the 2 bolts that go into the water pump. Then we tighten up the bolt and nut here, and then we will tighten up the front bolts of the compressor. So we're going to lift up a little bit here, see the slack, and just kind of take the weight off so it gets, and just, give it a nice turn. Do that one first, followed by these 2. That's going to give us a nice solid base into the cylinder head. Should square everything up, and then we don't want to forget any, so we tighten this one up next. And then we will get the 2 on the compressor here. I will lift up just a little bit on the compressor. I like to do the one on the bottom first, followed by the one on the top. And now what we're doing here, and what's important about this sequence, is we want to square the bracket to the cylinder head, and then we want to square the compressor here. So you want to make sure that you do these 2 before you do the one in the back here. Let's go through a torque sequence. For the 3/8 bolts, we have our torque wrench set to 25 foot-pounds, and we're going to go through the exact same sequence again, in order, making sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. The 8mm bolts on the compressor will be torqued to 15 foot-pounds. Talk amongst yourselves. Once again, going to the bottom first. 15 is not that much. And then we grab the back one here. I'll have to get a different socket for that. One of the things I want you to take notice of before we tighten up this back one is this gap right here. We've moved this sleeve back, but we want to make sure that there isn't a huge gap here. So you can use that, either a feeler gauge or shine a flashlight up in there and make sure that you haven't left a large gap. 15 foot-pounds. We're going to take our tensioner and a 10mm by 140mm bolt. The reason we use that is because that's what this tensioner is designed to take, so we don't want any slop in there. Our last 2 5/8, slide it right in here. We're going to install the tensioner like so. 10mm nut on the back. And I like to make sure that this has just a little bit of slop. When you torque it down, make sure that it's torqued in this position, because this is the working angle so that it doesn't loosen up over time. and we'll torque this to 37 foot-pounds. We're ready to install the belt. Now, the belt length will be slightly different if you're using the P-Series power steering as opposed to the Type 2 power steering like we have on this one here, but just follow the installation instructions. It has a recommended belt length for you. Just make sure it's down and all the pulleys there. We're going to take our 3/8 drive here, drop this down. It should be such that a single person can put this on, but I will say that we do want a pretty tight fit. So we'll take a look at this here when we let go. Once again, make sure that we're down in all the grooves. And we're going to take a look here at these tensioner marks. We do our best to give you the belt recommendations. It's going to be right the first time, but each belt is slightly different. And so what we really want you to do is take a look at these maximum and min marks right here. This is where the tensioner goes through it. And we're going to want this on the tight side because as a belt wears, it's going to stretch slightly. Also, it's going to sit down deeper into the grooves, effectively making it longer. So we want to make sure that we're on probably this half of tight. Thank you for watching this quick performance installation video. If you have any questions or concerns about your install, please reach out to us via email or give us a phone call. And if you want to share any pictures of your installation with us or any ways that you think we can improve our product, we want to hear from you. Thanks.